Hello fellow Star Wars fans, my name is Starrapter and welcome to my spoiler-free review for Star Wars Squadrons, the long-anticipated first-person space combat game, and it's the first of its kind that we've gotten in several years for Star Wars, so people have been amped and hyped to get into this awesome dogfighting game, and it is available for Xbox One, PS4, PC, and it does have virtual reality on the PC and the PS4. I played this in full VR mode for the campaign. There's also multiplayer modes, which I will talk about. So yes, I was completely immersed. I also used a HUD setup. I used a joystick as well as a throttle with the VR headset. I was completely in the game. So this takes place after the Battle of Endor, which is, after Return of the Jedi. And we have the Galactic Empire still around, even though that their Death Star and your Emperor is no longer with them. And we also have the New Republic, who has just really been created. They're trying to cement themselves in the galaxy. So for the first time in Star Wars history, we have the Rebels, if you can call them that at this point, as well as the Galactic Empire, which are kind of neck and neck in power. They both have their very large flagships, capital ships, and they still have several squadrons on both sides, hundreds, if you will. And really, they're just trying to vie for power. And what's really cool about this game is that you actually switch off between the different factions. You have Titan Squadron, part of the Galactic Empire, and you also have Vanguard Squadron, which is part of the New Republic. So you get to create a character from the start, which is the first time in Star Wars canon video game history that you can just customize how your character looks, and they get fitted into the story. And it's really neat because you have these squad mates, which I thought were way better than I anticipated as far as from a story telling perspective. They each have their own personalities on both sides. I can't really figure out which side I like more. Probably New Republic, because I've always been a Rebel fan. I mean, you have people like Min Benese, you have Miri Allens, you have Trandoshans, and on the Galactic Empire side you have cyborgs that don't want to take their helmets off, and people that think that the Imperial Senate should come back. So there's very rich characters that are in this game, and you're learning about them even outside of the cockpit, which I really appreciate. There's segments of this campaign where you get to go into the briefing room, or you get to go into your hangar bay and get to know your squad mates a little bit better, and really enhances the story. It really does improve upon the backdrop of where this is set, because this is set in a very rich time period. We have several books, series, as well as comics, and even the Battlefront 2 campaign with Iden Versio is kind of set in that same area, but right before the Battle of Jakku. So lots of rich storytelling and the connections here. If you guys have read that stuff, if you follow my channel, I do lots of canon talk. I was really just so happy with the homework that these writers did to really bring this all together. It's really just an awesome part in Star Wars history. Talking about from a mechanics perspective with this game, with the single players, you get to actually check out each one of the ships. There's 4 ships on each side. You have the TIE Interceptor, the TIE Fighter, you have a TIE Bomber, and you have a TIE Reaper. Then on the New Republic, you have a Y-Wing, X-Wing, A-Wing, and you have the U-Wing. And each one of these ships, even, the comparable other ship on the other side, they all handle completely different. Obviously, you're in the cockpit, so each one of these ships looks drastically different. They feel different. They have different roles. You have support ships that'll basically be like healers, if you will. And then you have the interceptors, which are really good at just taking out fighters. The X-Wings and the TIE Fighters are just all-around great ships that really can have a balance of different things. And throughout the campaign, you have different objectives. You have different maps. There's 14 missions. It took me about 8 hours or so to get through it. And it really just felt like the variety was there. There's missions where you're escorting Lambda shuttles, to bombing listening posts, to just flying inside of crazy different devices, which I think is really comparable to flying through a Death Star at certain points of the game. So such awesome stuff that really actually helps you get used to the game's controls, because the controls are very easy to pick up, but it's one of those games where the more hours you spend in it, the better you're going to be as a pilot, especially as it comes to multiplayer. So, but I will say I used the controller, an Xbox controller, playing the game, as well as a joystick, and I adapted to both of them very quickly. So even if you aren't a fan, or if you aren't particularly good at these kind of flying games, I'd say give it a try, because there's a good chance that you'll still be able to pick it up okay enough. I will say that the sound design is amazing. The TIE Fighter sound, that iconic sound, is just great. And also the music is so awesome. You have that John Williams score in the background with some variations of that and some new tracks as well. So it very much feels like Star Wars, and it feels like Star Wars and it doesn't have to have the Millennium Falcon. It doesn't have to have Luke Skywalker. You know, there's all original characters. This really felt like Rogue Squadron from back in the day. And it has characters like cameos that come up, and you've seen Wen Gentili's in the game. There's Harrison Dula, and if you guys are a fan of canon, we have Admiral Sloane on the Galactic Empire side. The first time we actually see her on the screen, as well as the first time we actually get to hear her. The graphics in this game are so darn good, you know, especially I played it in VR, and it's serviceable. I noticed that there's a little bit drop in the graphics, but then when I played it again with the VR off, I said, whoa, this looks awesome. I'm pretty sure this is on the Frostbite engine, the same engine from Battlefront 2, which this game really spawned from, and has a cool history where the developers were actually working on this just for fun, and then they realized, oh, we can make this an entire game, and that's why it was probably $40. So getting into the multiplayer, there are really two modes. There's Dogfight, which is simple enough. You have 5 pilots on each side, each faction of Galactic Empire, New Republic. You're fighting on different maps. Then the signature mode is Fleet Battles. Now, Fleet Battles can either be solo, they can be co-op against AI, or they can be 5 players on one side, 5 players on the other, mixed with AI in there as well. So it's multi-phase. The first phase, you're going to go in and try to take out as many fighters as you can to boost the morale on your side. If your morale reaches a certain threshold by getting kills, then you'll go to phase 2. Phase 2 has you taking out 2 capital ships. When you do that, you move on to phase 3, and then that is when you go and attack the flagship. So if you're the Galactic Empire, you're going to go attack the MC-75, which is basically Admiral Radish's ship, and if you're on the New Republic, you're going to attack a Star Destroyer. And these flagships have different nodes. They have the power systems, they have the targeting array, they have the shield generators, so you can kind of special target each of these to deal certain damage. There's going to be shields, you can fly underneath the shields, and this is when the tactics become very cool, because you know, you can have your bombers going in to doing certain things. You could have your U-Wing or your TIE Reaper to support, heal up the characters, use shields. I play as a support character, and I felt like I was a paladin in World of Warcraft, shielding my guys, giving them heals, and then also using my ion cannons to weaken the shields on the ships as well. So there's lots of customization in this game. The leveling system is there, but it's very fair. It's the most fair leveling system I've seen for a game, because no certain components are locked behind a certain level threshold. You can go into the game and play how you want by spending your points that you accrue from completing basically levels, or you can actually spend them in any way you want, essentially. And then there's also cosmetic rewards. You can actually spend them on pretty much anything, from ship designs to pilot designs. Lots of variation there. I think where this game really shines is when you play it with your friends. I think it is so cool that this game has crossplay. That to me is huge. There's been countless games in the past that are multiplayer that I've wanted to play with friends. They're on the PS4. I don't have one. I can't play with them. That's enough. That's it. I don't have any say in that. Whereas with Star Wars Squadrons, all you have to do is simply add your friends on the EA ID, and I was playing with a buddy on Xbox while I was in VR with another friend on PC without the VR. So there's lots of variations. You can have the best time with your friends because everybody's on voice chat and you're going in. I noticed this game actually has more participation with voice chat, not just from your buddies, but like randoms in the group that actually make it really fun. Like I couldn't help like yelling and laughing into the mic with these complete strangers as we're attacking the Star Destroyer in unison. As I'm going for an attack run, I'm buffing up my character, my buddy with the shield, and we're going in underneath the shield. We're attacking the targeting array. We're taking that out. We're putting our shields up, and then it's crazy because there's so much skill level. Like I said, you can actually manage your power system, so you can actually boost up your shields, or you can boost up your lasers, or you can shut off your engines and like boost up your lasers by max with your TIE fighters. And there's the New Republic that has shields on the ship, and 3 out of the 4 ships on the Empire don't, but it's because they're balanced. They have more speed and more agility that I think it really adds. Like I say, each ship feels very, very good, and there's going to be people that love playing the New Republic. There's going to be people that favor the Empire. Right now, I'm favoring the New Republic because I've always been that kind of rebel fan, but that's just saying that. But yes, I mean, there's not much negatives I could say about this game. I would say, oh yeah, I would like to have more customization for the New Republic. I would like to see more than 4 aliens, right? And I would like to see maybe more stuff clarified by the devs if we're going to get any kind of updates. I don't think we are, but hey, you never know. If this game does well enough, maybe they'll add stuff into the game. Yeah, because right now we have dogfights and we have fleet battles, which two great modes, but I could see maybe they get a little old after a while. But with that being said, I gotta give Star Wars Squadrons a score of a 9 out of 10. Like I said, if you guys aren't even fans of flight combat games, definitely give this one a shot. It's not really a simulator. You can get into this game with a controller or with a joystick, whatever. It'll work for you. It's very easy to pick up and play. I think this game is up there with games like Battlefront 2's campaign, and not quite as good as Jedi Fallen Order's campaign, but this game's campaign surprised me with how great it was from a story aspect as well as from a mechanics aspect. The multiplayer is some of the most refreshing multiplayer I've played in a long time, just for the fact that there's not a lot of space combat games out there, and definitely not Star Wars games with this kind of quality when it comes to space combat. So what do you guys think about Star Wars Squadrons? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I talk about Star Wars on a weekly basis, so if you like what I had to say about Star Wars Squadrons, make sure you go ahead to subscribe to the channel so that way you never miss another Star Wars video. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.